say at the offset of this video that I am posting this for like-minded people. This is not going to be for everybody. Please understand that. If you're low IQ, you lack critical thinking skills, you type to think after you act, like, no, this is not for you. Go watch a short or some shit like that. This kind of video is going to make your high, or your super high. This is the kind of mind expansion video that I'm dropping for you. Now, of course, I'm not the originator of it. The material here is from another channel, but he's the kind of brother that wants things very open source. So I am doing my due diligence. You can see the length of this video. I am not going to run the whole thing, but I'm going to break it up into pieces so that you can digest it properly. Obviously, I watched the whole thing. I've watched it at least 3 times. This is how much information is in here to be collected, but I'm going to break it down in pieces so that you can take notes. You can do all those things. So, of course, thanks to Yusuf L, the people therein who speak and give opinions, etc. And, of course, to you, the viewer. If you make it through all the parts, all the sections, however I portion them out, kudos to you. Because sometimes you have to learn, unlearn, relearn, and then rinse and repeat. You basically have to wash your own brain and then relearn. If you have that capability, this video is for you.
The Matrix in the U.S. Constitution. Author unknown. Introduction. During my 12 years service as a judge, I always insisted on the truth and placed justice above law and order. I could have prepared this article in Dacia of a research paper. However, people tend to lose interest when articles of this nature become too technical. Science has taught us that for every action there is a positive reaction. If your life on earth resembles a matrix, it is because you're seeing things for the first time with eyes wide open, but you feel confused. That feeling of confusion is appropriate because the information you are now digesting contradicts much of the information you've been spoon-fed throughout your life. I named this paper after the movie The Matrix, written by the Wachowski brothers. After reading this, watch the movie and you will notice many similarities. In 2002, my brother ran into a problem with the IRS, and to help him out, I began to research the tax code. One thing led to another, and suddenly I was uncovering information about our government, which was directly in conflict with the U.S. Constitution and what I've been led to believe throughout my life. In time, I began to interface with people from every state in the Republic who were doing the same thing I was doing, some for the same reason and others for different reasons. We began to trade our research, and the facts I uncovered was totally in contradiction to the history of America, which had been taught to us in public school, and the principles of law I'd absorbed during my service as a judge. I began to assist people to prepare and file suits in the courts, and I filed several of my own. At one point, because of the information I'm about to provide to you, I became extremely depressed. After about 3 months, I eventually shook it off and continued on with my research. My hope in writing this is to help you, the reader, make sense of it all, which will require you to wash your mind clean of the brainwashing you were subjected to by our government-controlled public schools and churches, and re-educate yourself. When you understand the actions, the reactions will make sense, and it should anger you. Eventually, you will have a choice to make, a choice that will define how to survive life in the Matrix. In the Matrix, nothing is real. However, your mind has been conditioned to believe it is real. The Matrix is far too big to defeat. No one can escape it, and we haven't the means or intelligence to beat those in control. Through my research, I discovered that America is a society of functional illiterates. I remind you that this is not my opinion. I'm just the messenger. I first read Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars in a book entitled Behold a Pale Horse by William Cooper, who is an ex-naval intelligence officer who was killed by police officers. In this particular document, you will find a lot of different documents that a lot of people borrow from. This book came out, I read it back in 1991, and over time I've become even more enlightened by this book as my knowledge has grown over the years. I would suggest everyone get a copy of this book and put it in their library. It has a lot of valuable information in it. But you can see right here on page 35, you'll see chapter 1, excerpts from Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars, copy furnished by Mr. Tom Young, a fellow warrior in the cause of freedom. Excerpts printed word for word exactly as discovered. The added comments of William Cooper, emphasis added by William Cooper. The Illuminati's declaration of war upon the people of America. William Cooper's author's note. I read top secret documents which explain that Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars is the doctrine adopted by the Policy Committee of the Bilderberg Group during its first known meeting in 1954. A copy found in 1969 was in the possession of Naval Intelligence. The following document, dated May 1979, was found on July 7, 1986, and an IBM copier that had been purchased at a surplus sale. Top secret, Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars. An introductory programming manual, operations research. And a lot of people say this is a fake document, just like protocols for the Learned Elders of Zion. But anyone of any intelligence that does a cursory examination of any of these documents will quickly come to the conclusion that the level of information and technicality required to write a document like this would make something as something as people just blowing it off as fake, either make them look like they're a damn fool, or they got to be some kind of agent, or they don't want y'all reading this. That's the only conclusion I can come to. Let's read it and let's see. I'm not going to read the entire thing, but there is a section I do want to show you about the educational system about being dumbed down. And it's in the energy system where he talks about energy. And this is a very, very good part of this particular document. And I'm going to start right here. I'll read this entire thing. It is real good, the entire thing on energy. Energy is recognized as the key to all activity on Earth. Natural science is the study of the sources and control of natural energy, and social science, theoretically expressed as economics, is the study of the sources and control of social energy. Both are bookkeeping systems, mathematics. Therefore, mathematics is the primary energy science, and the bookkeeper can be king if the public can be kept ignorant of the methodology of the bookkeeping. All science is merely a means to an end. The means is knowledge. The end is control. The end always justifies the means. Beyond this remains only one issue: who will be the beneficiary? In 1954, this was the issue of primary concern. Although the so-called moral issues were raised, in view of the law of natural selection, it was agreed that a nation or world of people who will not use their intelligence are no better than animals who do not have intelligence.
I think the most recent thing, you mentioned it before, and the most important thing, became involved in a lawsuit in 2006. I was added as the last of 7 defendants in a case that involved the manufacture and distribution of a controlled substance. The controlled substance was colloidal silver, but it's the same law that they would apply with heroin and cocaine, and it's a part of the drug laws. It was a civil prosecution by the Attorney General of the state of Texas, and they added me as a defendant. I was fiduciary for a trust. The trust was a defendant. They made me a defendant, and they're suing every defendant, including me, for $25,000 a day. That's $9 million a year. I guarantee I don't have that kind of money. And it sharpens your attention quite a bit to be sued for that, especially by the Attorney General of the state of Texas. I started reading the relevant law, and I'm a student of the Bible, and I have an understanding of the Declaration of Independence and fundamental principles, and I was just shocked. I read the law, and the definition of drugs presumes the people to be animals. And when I first saw the language, I thought, my God, these damn fools, they don't even know what they're writing. And then I saw it a second time. And then I saw it 2 more times in the federal law. First, I found it in the Texas law, then I found it in the federal law, and we found it in 23 separate laws and regulations that applied in our case. And it's abundantly clear that the government has been treating the people as animals. This is the foundation of our war on drugs. The war on drugs laid the foundation for much of the modern police state. The police state gave us the prison industrial complex. And all of this is balanced on a couple of little definitions of drugs and medical devices that presume the people to be animals.
Leviticus 25:45. Moreover, of the children of the strangers that do sojourn among you, of them shall ye buy, and of their families that are with you, which they begat in your land, and they shall be your possession. And you shall take them as an inheritance for your children after you, to inherit them for a possession. They shall be your bondmen forever. But over your brethren, the children of Israel, you shall not rule one over another with rigor.
אוקיי.
לא, 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 לא. נו, תגיד.
רגע, אני רוצה, רגע.
יש לנו בני אדם, מה?
אוקיי, אז השאלה...
נו, תגיד שלא.
בשיטה אתם קוראים מאוד
הם חיות.
אתם קוראים
בהמות,
כתוב, אתם קוראים אודום ואין הם קוראים אודום.
זהו, אבל לא הם בהמות.
נכון, לא כתוב שהם
אבל יש איזה הסבר על זה, נכון? למה הם... רגע, זה מה שאני רוצה להבין. רגע, שקט. אז כן, מה כתוב? זה מה שאני לא מבין.
כתוב שאתם קרויים אדם והגויים לא קרויים אדם, זה מה שכתוב.
לא קרויים?
לא קרויים אדם, לא קוראים להם אדם.
אוקיי, אז מה קוראים להם?
אדם זה אדם העליון. אדם הוא בן אדם שהוא שונה מהבהמה. אם הבן אדם עושה את מעשה הבהמה, אז הוא כמו הבהמה, מה זה שווה? כל בן אדם צריך לשלוט על עצמו. זה היהודים שולטים על עצמם. אם היצר אומר להם לעשות דבר והם לא עושים, אז הוא בן אדם.
אוקיי, אבל יש מישהו שהוא לא יהודי שעושה מה שצריך, הוא בן אדם או לא בן אדם?
כן, צריך לעשות דברים נורמליים. בדרך כלל הם עושים, הם יכולים להרוג אנשים שלא רואים אותם. יהודי לא יהרוג יהודי, אפילו שלא רואים אותם. אם אחד גוי, כן?
אבל יש יהודים שהורגים יהודים.
יש.
יגאל עמיר, רבי פופר...
יהודי שמתנהג כמו יהודי, ודאי יש יהודים שלא מתנהגים.
אוקיי, אבל רגע, מה שאני לא מבין, זה כל הגויים הם... איך קוראים?
שנייה, אדוני.
תשמע,
אני יכול להגיד לך משהו?
אם אין להם ציווי.
אדם זה על שם הדמה לעליון. אדם הזה יכול לדמה לאלוקי. אוקיי? זה פירוש אדם. אנחנו הפכנו את זה, זאת אומרת העם הפך את זה. האדם בן אדם, כמובן אתה בן אדם, אתה צריך להתנהג כמו בן אדם. אבל עיקרון זה על שם עליון. אדם זה הדמה לעליון, וכיוון שאנחנו בנים של אלוקים, אז הוא קרא לנו בני אדם. עכשיו, הגויים מה שאין, כן? אלוקים עשה אותם בשביל שיעשו פה...
בשביל לשרת את היהודים.
That was the end of part 1, ladies and gentlemen. And if you thought that was something, that is just the tip of the iceberg. The information being brought to you here is going to give you a brain on top of your brain. By the time you're done with this, you're going to be big brain. Trust and believe. So subscribe to the channel for more content. Like it, and of course share it with everyone you know. I will be dropping part 2 shortly. Please believe it. Believe it, please.